All right, Fresh. Let's go to the West Coast. This is a 3:30 kick. This is out in Colorado at the Air Force Academy. The UNLV Running Rebels are traveling to Air Force. Both these teams are 8-2 on the season, 5-1 in the Mountain West Conference. Guys, we told you this is a great weekend to go outside the Power Five. Love this matchup here. At time of record, Air Force is a 3-point home favorite. Over under is set at 47.5. Probably take the under in this unless you're going to count on UNLV putting up mass quantities of points here, because Air Force is going to take the air out of the football here and run it. Oh, yeah, and they may run it again. So, Fresh, I'll turn it over to you. What you got for UNLV Air Force?
Well, we got running Rebels and we got Falcons, but I expect this to be a fast game. Both teams love to run the football. The clock is going to be churning. This game could be over in less than 2.5 hours if all goes according to plan the way that both these teams operate. Right now, Air Force, second best rushing attack in the country, averaging 275.9 a game. UNLV is third in the Mountain West, averaging 195.7 rushing yards a game. So they really love to be ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound. Clock is going to run and play defense on top of that. So really expect a very fast pace. Each team might only get 6 possessions, maybe 7 possessions of football game, which is unheard of. But if you can maintain long drives and kill the clock and score at the end of them, it really eliminates those opportunities. And that's kind of what plays in both these teams' philosophies of the entire season is long drives, sustained drives, points, limit possessions, and kill the clock. The one thing that does kind of worry me for Air Force, 2-game losing streak to Army and Hawaii. Record-wise, they were inferior, but they just could not get the job done. Had to throw the ball a lot versus Army. They got down early, tried to scramble and come back. And the other worrisome part is quarterback Zach Larriere was supposed to be out for a while. Somehow, everyone said he wasn't going to play. Played versus Navy. They won the football game. Played, ineffectively versus Army. Played 2 plays versus Hawaii and was out of the ball game. No injury designation that anyone's really said other than he got knocked out, but we don't know if he's coming back, what's his status. Nobody has an idea. So it's very, it's very open-ended right now for what Air Force offensively is going to bring to this football game. If he's going to be behind center or they're running the 2 backups, because the 2 backups, Jensen Jones and Ben Britton, combined for 4 turnovers versus Hawaii, and that's a big reason why they lost. And this entire Falcon offense has only scored 16 points in the last 2 football games. A major difference from what they were rolling out early in the year. They were storming people. They were putting up points and yards at a pretty historic pace. And right now they've completely just emptied out the tank and they have nothing left. So will that team be recharged? Will they refine the running game? No matter who the quarterback is, Emmanuel Michel has got to be the number one tailback for the Falcons. He's got to get back on track and start taking the load and putting yards after yards after yards and score touchdowns. And that offensive line has got to start getting their cut blocks and open up some holes for this offense to operate. Because if not, Falcons could be in some trouble. So Troy Calhoun has really got to get that staff and that team organized coming into Saturday. They had everything in front of them. They could have walked themselves right into the Mountain West title game. That big loss to Hawaii out there on the island. That's a tough one to come back from. And it puts them in a really dire situation now with the way Fresno State's playing and the way that UNLV's playing. They could actually see themselves on the outside looking in for the title game, which would be a major step back considering where they were about 3 weeks ago and looking pretty. So looking pretty good. On the other side, UNLV. You have an absolutely amazing what Odom has done there. Came in his first year, got the entire team focused, recharged, playing physical football, and I think they've shocked even everyone in the program. They've shocked everyone in the fan base that they had this massive turnaround so quickly, and they've been so effective. But it really, you kind of look at where this team has sort of grown. They've played solid defense, but they've gotten offensive production from a bunch of players. Number one, wide receiver Ricky White. 62 receptions, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. He has been the only person in that passing attack that's really done any damage. Next on the list behind him is Jacob DeJesus, 39 receptions for 393 and 2 touchdowns. And then it really drops off from there. So it's really a one receiver option. The fact that he's still getting 1,000 yards and getting almost double receptions and nobody's going to stop him is really a testament to the play action and the play design that they've been able to use for UNLV. They've been a real major running focus team, as we mentioned earlier, between Vincent Davis, Jaden Thomas, and Donovan Lester. They've combined for 1,300 yards and 21 rushing touchdowns, averaging 5 yards a carry combined. So the three of them, they are able to mix and match, get it done, and then build the play action off of that. If they can all three keep that production going, the offensive line can keep popping against that strong Air Force defense, UNLV can win. This game is in Colorado Springs. Elevation's a little issue. It's going to be, a little cooler than being in Vegas in a dome. But really, what kind of veteran disciplined football team shows up? Is UNLV getting a little big headed? Last time they went on the road against a tough team, they went to Fresno State and they got beat pretty good. Will does Air Force using this past couple of weeks to sort of get themselves refocused? Are they recharged? Are they disciplined enough to go out there and get themselves a win when they actually mostly need it in this football game? Um, they're third best defense in the nation when it comes to yards allowed. They're only getting up 245. Can they be able to limit this UNLV offense? And that really comes back to not just their defense being good, but their offense being successful and being able to maintain drives. In the end, I think Air Force, they're able to do enough offensively, mixing and matching and being disciplined enough to win this football game. It's going to be low scoring, more like a 21-17, 20-13 football game. But the Air Force Falcons will get themselves off the mat. They will defeat UNLV and get themselves one step closer to the Mountain West title game. I think the under is definitely going to come in as a football game, but Air Force will win.
Fresh, I'm with you. I'm a little nervous about Air Force because this isn't the Air Force team that we saw go 7-0. This is a really weak Air Force team that we're seeing 0-2 in the last two games. Just like you talked about, Air Force is going to try to keep the ball on the ground. They're going to limit their passing attempts. The worst thing that can happen for Air Force is that they get down. UNLV's got to be careful though, because this is the first time this season that they're going up a team that runs the triple option. There's a reason Army or teams that play Army or Navy on a routine basis will have a better shot against Air Force is because they've seen the triple option before. When a team only plays one triple option team, you're not used to that. You're not used to the defensive reads. You're not used to the assignments that you have to have. That's going to be the big test for UNLV. Are they able to stick to the assignment? Are they able to limit the ground game there? Because really the most important player is Emmanuel Michael for Air Force there, the fullback there. You take a look at him, 733 yards. He's got 9 touchdowns on the year. That's going to be the go point. Zach Larriere, I know he's injured. We never know with injury designations or anything like that. So we're going to continue to monitor that situation. But again, as long as they got Michael in this game, they definitely have a shot in that opportunity. Even if Larriere is out for the year or out for this week, Jones and Britton, whoever is going to be the quarterback, wound up getting some snaps over the week. They're going to be able to run with the ones. I think you're going to see a much better performance this week than you did in the weeks previously. For UNLV, to me, Fresh, I was waiting for you to talk about their freshman quarterback, 6'4", Jaden Maeva. Now, there's a couple of things. Jaden Maeva is Samoan, man. And if you know anything about Samoans, they do a couple of things really, really well. One, they make amazing pork. Okay? If you've not had Samoan pork, it's phenomenal. Two, they have really cool tattoos, the tribal tattoos. I mean, that's where all it came from in the 90s. They built amazing pro wrestlers. If you haven't ever seen the Samoan family tree when it comes to pro wrestlers, and they built darn good football players. All of these things come from the Samoan heritage, and they have really cool warm-up dances. Maeva's been awesome as a freshman. And you think about like what has been put onto his shoulders this season there in Las Vegas as a true freshman. This kid's been lights out. The thing that makes me a little bit interested about him, he's a hometown boy. Played his football in Las Vegas there. He's playing his college football there. If he wasn't from Vegas, I would be saying that this kid's a strong transfer, as a strong possibility to enter the transfer portal and to be a big pickup for a Power 5 school. But I think he's going to like staying and playing close to home. 65 yards or 65% completion ratio on the year, and he's only taken 6 sacks on the year. So he's getting rid of the football, living to play another day. His legs aren't a huge threat. He can run a little bit. He's got 3 rushing scores as well, but he's not a true dual threat. He doesn't need to be with Davis and Thomas back there. But I went and I looked a little bit more into UNLV. The thing that impressed me with UNLV, They have recovered every fumble that they have forced this year. They have forced 8 fumbles, recovered all 8 of them. They also have 13 interceptions on the year. Not going to be a factor, though, playing a team like Air Force. So take a look. They also have a very interesting, and again, I'm talking Samoans. I'm talking kickers now. Jose Pizzano. I don't know if he's Hispanic.
Great
I don't
job.
know
Well done.
if he's Italian, if a little bit mixed. But the kid's 41 for 41 on extra points, 21 of 22 for field goals, has a long of 52. He has been lights out, man. This kid is a weapon. And especially in a place like Colorado where the air is really thin, that ball is going to boom off of his foot. He could come into a big time player in this game. He really could. He's one of the best kickers in college football, in my opinion. He's done a remarkable job. I'm with you, Fresh. I think Air Force is going to have a bounce back game, but the 3 points is right where I like the score at. Like if this was Air Force by 4, I might be taking you. I would probably be taking UNLV in the points, but I like Air Force -3. But would not shock me if UNLV pulls the upset. I'm going to take the over, not by much, couple of points. Take the over by a couple of points there. I'm liking it right around 49, maybe 50. I think that there's going to be a couple of touchdowns in this game.